Okay, today we're looking at what I call Prescient, and we start with the song. Lord God, thou hast made the heavens and the earth by thy outstretched arm. Nothing is too difficult for thee. Nothing is too difficult for thee. Great and mighty God, great in counsel, mighty indeed, mighty indeed. Nothing, absolutely nothing is too difficult for thee. Of course, we're starting with the prophecy. The Nigerian election is coming up very soon, and I do have a prophecy. I see, the cleaning house of the Obion stable. Of course, Augios is the mythical king of Elis. He had a stable that had 3,000 oxen that had not been cleaned for 30 years. So this election will be surprises, will be full of surprises. But let's look at, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 16. And this, of course, takes us back to the story of Solomon. I don't think we can read this scripture and not think of Solomon, of King Solomon. But the king, this is God speaking to the people when they get to the promised land, and they then want to have a king, that the king must not acquire many horses for himself, or send the people back to Egypt to acquire more horses. For the Lord has said, you are never to go back that way again. He must not take many wives for himself, lest his heart go astray. He must not accumulate for himself large amounts of silver and gold. Just to give an idea of why Solomon came to mind while I was reading this scripture, look at 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 26. Solomon had 4,000 stalls for his chariot horses and 12,000 horses. I mean, it's like this was actually written. That's why I titled it Prescient. It was actually written with Solomon in mind. Because the idea here is that horses, of course, were used in battles, and usually the problem is that when you start to acquire those kinds of horses, you can begin to put your trust in, your army, your armory, your weapons, instead of putting your trust in God. And God wanted the Israelites to put their focus firmly on Him, not in whatever else it is, that they think will be able to help them, because our sufficiency and our help is from God. And you can see the way in which Solomon crashed. And of course, Egypt was actually the source of most of the horses back in the day. So I think part of the things that we learn from here is, there's nothing wrong with, being comfortable, but primitive acquisition can become a problem. But don't let anything ever make you, remove God from the center of the universe, because usually those things don't end well.